Welcome. I'm Ellen Hannock with the Public Policy Institute of California.
And I'm Graham Fogg with UC Davis, UC Water.
We are separated by the projector, but we've been working closely on organizing this workshop, and we were delighted.
Show solidarity.
As a show, so there we go. Delighted to have the opportunity that Tom has sort of offered to bring together folks from the Groundwater Conference and others for a fun afternoon talking about groundwater in California's Central Valley. And I thought this is just a chance for us to kind of give you a little bit of a sort of overview of what the afternoon is going to be like and what we're both hoping to take away from it. And so I guess to first start with that, maybe just a lot of you are not from California, so we want to show you a map of the region that we're all going to be talking about today. So this is all of California, and then the three hydrologic regions that are highlighted there. That is basically California's Central Valley, which is a major agricultural region, major groundwater using region, and a lot of interest right now in California. I'm sure going to be hearing about this throughout the conference, as well as what we're going to be talking about today, about the implementation of a new groundwater law in California, which was enacted in the fall of 2014, making California the last, but not the least, of Western states to adopt a statewide legislation requiring groundwater basin management. And in California's case, it's a process that is different from in a lot of other Western states, where it's a more centralized state-level process where a state engineer is involved. California opted for a more locally based management process, and basically the law sets up a process whereby local groundwater users have to get together at the level of subbasins and form agencies, to groundwater sustainability agencies, develop long-term plans to manage the resource sustainably. And so we've got some great resources today with us in the room to help talk about how that's working on the ground, and a chance really to have an interaction with practitioners, with managers, and with researchers. So this map on this colorful map here, this shows you all of the basins that are considered high or medium priority in the state's process, and the ones that are colored in the dark red are those that are categorized as critically overdrafted. So they're the ones that have the earliest deadlines for putting in place adopting plans. That has to happen by 2020, and then implementation going on during the next 20 years in order to achieve sustainability. What we have passed around for you, in addition to the program for today and the speaker bios, a little timeline, a nifty cheat sheet to sort of, so you can see the timeline of the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act and which agencies are going to be involved in that. And then, so I think just in terms of quick overview of the afternoon, after Graham and I wrap up, the first session is going to be one that's going to be focused on some research in progress from the UC Water Initiative and beyond, and a chance to talk about that. And I'll let you give a little bit more of a preview of that, Graham, when I pass you the mic. Then the second session is going to be a chance to hear from folks, managers, policymakers on the ground about challenges and opportunities for the implementation of this law, which now people have rolled up their sleeves over the last 18 months already or more, and we'll get to hear from them. So we've got the lead from the State Department of Water Resources, Dave Gutierrez, on SIGMA, as well as managers from each of those three hydrologic regions. Then we're going to have a little break, and just anytime you need a break, behind the curtains is where the restrooms are, so you can sneak out. And then session 3 is going to be a chance for us at PPIC, the Water Policy Center, to share with you and get your input on some work in progress that we had launched looking at the San Joaquin Valley in particular, where this is a sort of a bigger effort to look at some, basically what we're calling soft landings for the valley, which, as you can see, is the part that's pretty much all colored dark red there. And so groundwater management is a central challenge there, and we're kind of using that as a way to sort of look more broadly at solutions for the valley. And we've got lucky to have a number, well, Dave Worth is going to be moderating that panel, as well as a number of other folks in the room are part of an advisory group for that project. So we're really fortunate to have them here. And then our last session is going to just be a sort of chance to wrap up and kind of look at takeaways for policy and research. And the panel there consists of folks who are both researchers and practitioners. And I guess with that, maybe the one last thing I'll say is just that, so you know who PPIC is, we are a nonpartisan research, policy-oriented research group based in San Francisco, with offices also in Sacramento, and we do work on issues of importance for policymaking in California in a nonpartisan, independent way, and we try to do that, bringing together researchers from all different kinds of organizations, and we do it trying to really interface very actively with the policymakers and practitioners. So this is a great opportunity for us to kind of bring all those worlds together. And Graham?
Want to switch chairs?
I switch with you. There you go.
Switch hats.
Okay.
Thanks, Ellen. That was a great introduction. Yeah, so, and Thomas, thank you so much for the opportunity for UC Water and PPIC to join in this workshop. UC Water is the ivory tower, so I don't know, what's the ivory tower doing here with PPIC? Well, let me describe UC Water a little bit. This is a consortium of researchers, mainly at 4 UC campuses: UC Davis, Merced, Berkeley, and Santa Cruz, and with also colleagues working at some other UC campuses at the moment. It's a multi-campus research unit, and the focus is on water security and sustainability. So that's much broader than SIGMA and groundwater. But a big part of what we're trying to do in SIGMA is to look at all the stores of water all at once and the fluxes between them on multi-decadal timescales. And what does that mean for SIGMA and adaptation to SIGMA? Adaptation to SIGMA, I mean, to a lot of you, adaptation means reducing groundwater pumping, right? But another big part of it is increasing the stores of groundwater. And a lot of what we deal with in UC Water is looking at where the additional water could come from at different times of the year, at different decades, to change the total water storage equation. We have projects ongoing in a number of locations in California. The Central Valley is one of the study areas overall, but there are focus studies ongoing in the American Cosumnes Basin, as well as Yolo County, and coastal basins such as Pajaro, and you'll hear about some of these today. You're not going to hear about all of what's going on in UC Water, but just really the parts that we think most pertain to the groundwater adaptation problem. And to kind of bring that, here's a figure on kind of the essence of UC Water in terms of looking at the stores of water from the headwaters to the reservoirs to the groundwater. The way to summarize this is, imagine you had your financial portfolio in 3 accounts, and they're all connected, and you only manage one of them. How do you think your financial security would be if you only manage one of them? And how have we been dealing with water security and sustainability? We've only really been managing one of the accounts. And that worked well enough when there was plenty of water in the other accounts, but now it's not working so well. Let me move to an arcane-looking slide, but I have an ulterior motive here. Do we have a pointer? This thing must work. Okay. So, what is this? This is groundwater use in thousands of acre feet in the U.S. And that's California. That's about 15 million acre feet. Well, California uses more groundwater than any other state. And why is that? It's not because it's bigger. Texas is much bigger. Texas has much more groundwater. The Texas aquifers are not significantly less productive as aquifers. So why is California always been, for quite a long time, the biggest groundwater user? It's not because of the groundwater, it's because of the surface water. And the fact that we've always had water coming from the mountains and infiltrating those aquifers, and it's also because the big water pumpers have been farmers, and the farmers are on the hook for that pumping, but the biggest rechargers of the water are also the farmers. So the reason the pumping has been so big in California is because, yes, there's some prolific aquifers, there's a large demand for water, but there have been huge unintentional recharges of groundwater, mostly by farmers. Mostly by farmers. So the key, in our view, one of the keys in Sigma and groundwater adaptation is not a few big projects, but thousands of little projects, including lots of projects on farms. So the farm, water, and land management part of the equation for groundwater management is in our view, key. But you've got to look at the whole system to get at that. So, I think we're ready to get on with our first panel. So if we could have, and the way this is going to go is that the panel talks will be short. The panelists have been asked to talk for about 5 minutes. And for Ivory Tower folks, you know, they can do it though. These are the best of the Ivory Towerists. And then there's just going to be open discussion.